Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassidy. And last night, we watched the Bill Belichick-led Patriots get destroyed by the Bills, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Western expansion. Pretty sure that Bills killed Patriots there. But Bill Belichick, is he washed? Is his time done? Was he a system coach all along? Like I said in a previous episode of Josh and Pat, where I said Bill Belichick was a system coach in Tom Brady's system, and now it seems like that may be the case because they can't do anything. And some people are saying it's probably because of their dip offensive coordinator Matt Patricia, who, let's be real, Matt Patricia did not want to be in that position. He was a defensive guy, and then all of a sudden Bill's like, hey, you gotta coach the offensive, and he's like, what? I want to do two things in life. I want to sharpen this pencil that goes in the back of my ear and call defensive plays. And now it seems like he's not having the chance to do that. Are the Patriots dead? Is the dynasty officially dead, Patrick? Or did we already know this and that's just like nothing new?
It's nothing new. The dynasty died when Brady left. But in all fairness, what if I told you that Matt Patricia's not the problem? I'm a Bailey Zappi guy. I think they're rolling with the wrong quarterback here.
That could be true. Listen, yesterday, Mac Jones calls, he says, lips it, we all saw the clip, throw the effing ball. And all I want to say is, Mac Jones, calling to, throw the ball more. It's kind of like Henry Ruggs calling for the keys. It's like, do you have the facilities for that? I don't know. Do you have the facilities for that? I think probably not. Maybe, hey, I don't know if that's the solution, Mac.
Look, Mac Jones he might not be a problem, but he certainly is not fixing any of the issues that are going on. When you look at it last night, that offense looked horrendous. He threw for 195 yards. But that being said, you go to a week ago, against the Vikings, which are 8-2, they look like they could be a favorite in the NFC. I mean, they put up 26 points. That doesn't look great, but he almost threw for 400 yards. So is Matt Patricia the problem, or are the Patriots just a dome team?
That's a great question. I think Matt Patricia is also the problem. I'll be honest with you. Matt Patricia could be a better Weight Watchers coach than offensive coordinator, and I think that's saying a lot. I mean,
yeah, but does anybody have a better signature move than the pen in the ear?
He does. People are saying that he spends more time sharpening that pencil in his ear than actually making red zone plays, which might be a problem.
But here's the question. Who spends more time? Making sure the pencil's sharpened in the ear, or Cliff Kingsbury making sure he has enough product in his hair?
That has to be a very close matchup, and I don't know what the over-under on both of those minutes are. All I'm saying is Matt Patricia needs to figure it out because he's single-handedly, him and Mac Jones are like a tandem ruining Bill Belichick's legacy, and I can't imagine Patriots fans are going to be happy about that because when he's the one who gets custody over you and not Brady, and then now you say, this guy sucks without Brady, it's not a good look. Patriots obviously lose, fan base is in shambles, would hate to be, on that team right now, and they don't know how to score. But speaking of scoring, Kardashian gets with NBA player. I know, breaking news, breaking headline. We never have heard that one before. Last night in a glorious fashion, Kanye West.
He was on one yesterday, man.
As he's going down with the ship, decides he's going to take as many people with him as he can. After, and I'm not even going to talk about everything that led up to this. Bottom line is quitting Twitter, but before he's out, said, hey, Chris Paul with Kim, confirmed. And the internet lost their minds.
That was a very funny tweet. Look, Kanye said some stuff that's like, but bringing in Chris Paul as one of your last tweets to be like, yeah, I caught him in bed with Kim K. The Kardashian curse is here. No wonder he can't win a finals. The Kardashian curse is real. He can't win it. And guess what?
So sons are
Chris
dead.
Paul, probably not a great guy.
Well, people are saying Chris Paul spends a lot of time, you know, on State Farm commercials. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is
Cliff,
there. Cliff, yeah, with his twin brother Cliff. I think Chris Paul would be an awful neighbor. He sounds like the exact opposite of the person I would want living next to my home. You know,
is he a fraud?
I'm going off to work and I'm like, oh, see you later, Chris. Yeah, and I leave, and then he's the exact person, the exact stereotype of somebody you don't want to be living next to. So
You don't know if he's going to be in your home when you walk back in.
if you come back in and he's in your home, it's a problem. And everyone's saying, Devin Booker and Chris Paul, the boys, like Devin Booker gave him the hookup. We have to remember, now granted, I have no idea the timeline of this. I have to assume that this happened when Chris Paul was in Los Angeles, because just in my brain, that's what makes sense.
I think that's a fair assumption.
But if he's not, if Chris Paul's commuting from Arizona if he was to make that happen, I mean, what are we even talking about here? That's a lot of work for Kim K, I feel like, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he's hopping in that PJ, going Phoenix to LA.
Listen, John Wayne Gacy would be a better neighbor than Chris Paul. He really would. And Kanye, like I said, going down the flames every day. He's looking a little bit more like Clayton Bigsby. So, yeah, it's a tough situation there. And Kanye, maybe one day you'll come back on Twitter. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the outlook on that looks like. And I'm not really sure on any of this. But people are giving mad props to Chris Paul this morning. And I just want to say, terrible neighbor. And
nothing like having Aaron Rodgers and Chris Paul as your two spokespeople.
Not a great year for State Farm. And there was a time, you have to remember, there was a time where State Farm was going to have potentially the State Farm Bowl. Remember that? It was
How could I forget, Josh?
Patrick Mahomes, and people were going to say, hey, Aaron Rodgers wins. We were going to have the State Farm Bowl. It was going to be the biggest thing. State Farm was on top of the world. And now State Farm is like broken thumb, ayahuasca, guy who's breaking up households.
Pat Mahomes possibly tampering in the draft process.
When it was
not a great look.
Oh man, State Farm, you got to get your stuff together. And then also you go and you replace Jake, the original Jake. And listen, I love the new Jake. Everyone knows I love the new Jake. But the old Jake was Jake. So it's like you can't just make. He could be. What about Jim from State Farm? James from State Farm. Those all great names. Well, I guess James would be Jim, wouldn't it? Or Jake. Yeah, it's okay. So we'll figure that out.
How about Drake from State Farm? Oh wait, already did it.
Already did it. Patrick, I don't know if you're following any World Cup action right now, but
huge footy.
But it is going crazy. So this week, Germany, to move on, needs Spain to draw. And Japan scores a last-minute goal on a very controversial call. Let's look at this. So you see here, that ball was ruled in. And because that ball was ruled in, he was able to, kick it to his buddy, scores, Germany's eliminated. And I just want to say, if that is enough to be considered in, guys around the world are celebrating right now. I mean, that millimeters, I don't even, I looked at that and I guess, hey, they showed me, a lot of, football has its stats people, soccer has its stats people, and I was seeing a lot of that VAR line with the tiny little bow of soccer ball sticking out. I just want to say, if this is in, and we're considering that in, it feels like we're kind of tampering with the integrity of the game.
Josh, this is why this sport is called soccer in the United States and not football. Okay, football, it's very clear. 2 feet, Do you get the 2 feet in, right?
Yeah, there's never any calls in football where like it's not clear and obvious,
Right.
and we debate about it the next day. We never
Yeah.
have that time.
I mean, look, we're old fashioned. 10 yards, chain link, boom. How can you mess that up?
Yeah,
But you
and you
got to
know
look at
what? And
it.
we do things right because say like I have an egregious pass interference, we can't review that, so it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. You can't even. And the
Can't
other
even do
great
it.
thing
We do things
is
right.
this soccer ball even touching the white line? No, it isn't. Go by rule, whatever.
Yeah, what is it? We're talking about. You're saying if it cuts a plane, I just want to say whoever was the ref here, his life got saved because he didn't call it on the field, and then he was probably like, oh man, I think I missed that, and then of course all the technical cameras and everything, you give
I
him
would argue
say he's in.
maybe if they want to keep this rule where, like, if part of the ball is over the line, maybe they need to reshape what a soccer ball is. Maybe make it with like a little 2 pointed nose and maybe some
Oh
laces in
man,
the middle.
and then you have to imagine if they did that, it would be tough to kick around all the time. But I say maybe we still kick it, but we could. Hey, let's just expand it. The goalies can use their hands. Maybe we give a couple other people. The other people can use their hands.
I like what you're thinking, Josh.
And then all of a sudden now, man, it does. And you know what? I don't know what it is in me. If it's like my German ancestors or not. But for some reason, when we start talking about like that, I want to call it football. You
I
know,
think football sounds like a great name for that.
I think so. That's we'll have to look into that. But if you think about it, this week, Patrick, Germany kind of almost lost twice because not only do you get eliminated from the World Cup, but now everyone's talking about Hitler again because of Kanye. So I mean,
I mean, this
it's
guy,
it's
Germany though.
it's
Okay,
true.
look,
Germany has. I mean, it's a tough week for Germany.
Germany was ranked 11th going into the World Cup. I'm a big footy, so I'm looking at the FIFA rankings.
Yeah, yeah,
You got to look at them. Look, Germany, 2 knockout stages. Maybe if they trained, maybe if they had a player that trained just as hard as Captain America, Christian Pulisic, maybe they could figure a
yeah.
way out of the group stage.
Kind of like the Cowboys of soccer here.
Yeah, really good and like not now,
Yeah.
but like the past.
Well, or I'd even say, high expectations. It's every year's their year, and
Do
then
you think? I'm not familiar with Germany's coach, but do you think he mismanages the clock?
I have to imagine that he does, and I have to imagine that he probably had a lot more success at some other country beforehand, but that success was probably because they had like Ronaldo or something, who's
Uh-huh.
and so I really don't know. I can only imagine whoever the owner of Germany is has to be a little bit eccentric. But
Right. You
like,
have to. You
but
have to think, and then you also have to think that like maybe like their highest paid player might just be like a pretty average club player. They just kind of overpaid him because of his name, but whatever.
but they're probably gonna. Hey, maybe Germany's gonna get messy in the offseason or during, and I don't know. That
Yeah.
I'm sure
Maybe
they'll.
there's a free agent they can bring in like Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know. Maybe
I
there's
I don't know. Germany, I'm sure you can fix things up though. This is not the legacy you guys want to leave. But historically, you guys have not performed well on the world stage, and
except for winning a World Cup. But that's in the
in
past.
the past, we're talking that's the past here, guys. Move on. But Germany's soccer team, they obviously did not do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. But listen, how about this U.S. men's team figuring it
Undefeated,
out,
baby.
undefeated, and now we're going to play the Netherlands. And Patrick, I don't know much about the Netherlands. Talk to me about the Netherlands.
Yeah, Holland, I never heard of her. But what I can say is
They got the one place that everybody goes to, right, and gets high. What's that place? Amsterdam.
I'm gonna say it's Amsterdam or Rotterdam.
So Amsterdam is, I mean, like that's not a great place, right? I think universally we're all like only like niche people will enjoy Amsterdam.
Again, not familiar with it. All I know
This is your
is
show. I said you're gonna have to. I'm gonna tee you off on Netherlands here. What do we?
look, I'm gonna say, Josh, my sources say Amsterdam's a pretty lovely place. Okay. So
Ah,
that's I don't
guess
know what
what?
to
You know
say.
what? You guys have Amsterdam. Well, we have Name a place in America we have, Patrick.
Boom. We have Springfield, Illinois. Boom.
Yes, we have Springfield, Illinois. Boom.
Yeah.
What are you going to say about that, guys?
Also, Shields, because tomorrow, Saturday, 10 a.m., Captain America strikes again. He puts the body on the line. What was it? Tuesday? And boom.
He did. He did
We're
put
on.
it.
We're on.
He did put it on the line. And he says, I quote, "I didn't get hit in the balls," and to which the natural response was, then Christian Pulisic actually has no balls. If I mean, it was ruthless. People were saying, "Hey, if he didn't get hit in the balls, he doesn't have balls because
he could have just played into the joke and be like, I sacrificed my future generation."
I mean, there was a real conversation we were talking about where his swimmers, who were potentially going to be, the Bronny and Bryce, James of soccer, they weren't going to exist. And then now, I guess it's good news in the sense where he's saying, I didn't get hit in the balls. But listen, I saw the tape. We saw what we saw. If you didn't get hit in the balls, man, it's hard for me to defend the fact that you have balls. And I'm sure you do. It takes balls to put America on your back. That's the kind of balls that they had in 1776. But right now, it's hard to defend you because we all saw you get just absolutely destroyed. So, Christian, I'm sure you do have balls, but your statement is making a lot of people question, including myself, and I don't want to question it. I really don't.
Look, here's the thing. Christian Pulisic is a national hero. I'm going 2-1, win over the Netherlands. America, in a year they're not supposed to be good at soccer, is going on the round 8.
Love to see it. USA, hey, United States, I believe in you, and this is going to be our year.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Yeah.
It's getting a new home. And that home's going to be, the home for a long time. Because we're figuring out. We're figuring out. And guess what? You guys had a head start on this whole soccer thing. But you know what? We're figuring out. Also, Patrick, I watched a stat. We're actually right to call it soccer. Because, get this. Ready for this? So originally, in the early days, this is going to be a little history lesson here. So in the early days here, there's the sports were being played, and then they branched off into 2 sports. So there was there was football, and then there was rugby football, and then there was then Federation football or something. I think it was Federation, and then the next thing you know, they start branching off, and then rugby becomes rugger or whatever, and then goes back to rugby. And then Federation football became soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they went back to football. But there was a time period where it was called soccer by everybody. And then just because you Brits with your slang and your potty mouth started calling it football, doesn't mean that we have to adopt it and start calling it football.
Look, all I know is I'm going to go out on a limb here. It's not coming home. What I do have to say, though, thinking about, the Euros and stuff, what time does Italy play in this World Cup?
Roasted. Another person that's being roasted is somebody who, and on advice of our lawyers, we're going to tread lightly when talking about the situation and talking about the people involved in the situation. But there's a quarterback for a team in Ohio who is making his debut this week against his former team. And if we didn't talk about it, we wouldn't be doing our job as journalists. Needless to say, I think we've all talked about the situation in regards to the situational things of the situation. But what we should talk about now is this guy going to suck? Because I have a feeling he has. The one practice clip I saw of him, was like a missed throw, and that was the
That
only
pre
one they decided to show. And I saw him in preseason, and you know what? This guy, he sucked. And I can't use that word. We're talking about him.
He was not a good
Not,
quarterback.
not
Let's
a,
put it like
not,
that.
he was not good.
Okay.
He was not good. And now I'm thinking that Deshaun Watson is potentially going to just embarrass the franchise of Cleveland, which I'm so excited for. I've never been more excited for, because Deshaun Watson thinks that he can parade around for 2 years not playing football, and and guess what? Not all of that was unwillingly. There was a time there where you said, "I'm not playing."
He did just. He was at one point like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I'm
we're
not
gonna
playing for the
forget
Bears.
that. We all forget that. Well, guess what, Deshaun? You know what I know about football? Football gives back what you give to the game. And you decided to withhold your talents to the game, and I know for a fact football is not going to look kindly on that. Not
Well,
anything else.
I think it's fair to say I don't think karma in general is on his side here, just with the whole situation. So Deshaun Watson, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not going to lead the Browns to the playoffs.
I don't think so. And will he lead them to the playoffs next year?
I
Maybe.
don't think so.
Now I will say, in Deshaun's defense, I am no athlete. Like, put me in the against the right people, I'm an athlete. I'm a stud against the right people. Everybody knows that in my intramural flag football league, I'm a guy who, when I step on the field, people they take notice. You know, I'm getting corner number one on me. When I'm in motion,
How's the shrink wide?
I'm bringing a safety with me. You know, and I think I've earned that title, that respect amongst in the league. Now I'll give you a couple drops. I will give you a couple drops, but it's only because I'm so wide open that I second guess myself. I'm like, how is this
Where's this going,
possible?
Josh?
How am I this wide open? But what I will say is this: if which I haven't, so I guess we could really put this to the test. No. Oh, we're back. If I decided not to play sport for like 2 years and went back to that sport, listen, I played sports like a long time, especially the sports I played a lot and practice a lot. I could go out there and I'm not going to be completely illiterate in the sport. That means you can't read. But I could play the sport. You know, I could figure it out. I have muscle memory. It doesn't mean I'm going to be the same level. Now, granted, if I'm even a little bit off of the same level, you know, it's fine against Joes and Schmoes. Against NFL caliber teams, I don't know, Patrick. I don't know. It could be rough for Deshaun Watson on Sunday, and I am taking the under on his yards, and I don't even know what that line is. I'm just telling
Boom, but
you
you're
guys right
hammering it
now.
anyway. That's the confidence that you have in the pick, that you're just going to hammer it no matter what the line is.
Now, yes, and so he's a quarterback I don't think is going to perform well, but a quarterback who I think could perform well is whoever is going to be on this. Wait, get there,
Spin.
boom, professional show on this wheel. That's
Boom.
right, guys. It is the random wheel QB wheel spinner. Oh, it has a nice little music. Oh, there's no music. So what's going to happen here is the first segment of Josh versus Pat. You've heard of Josh and Pat. Have you ever heard of Josh versus Pat? It's a weekly part of the show where we each get a quarterback, and that quarterback is representing us throughout the week. And you're going to see us tweet about it, and you're going to follow along. You guys can root for whichever team you want. Hashtag Team Josh, hashtag Team Pat. And we don't know who the quarterback we're going to get is. We're going to have to rely on this wheel. Now, granted, there are some quarterbacks on this wheel who are just not going to see the field at all on this. I mean, there's not 32 quarterbacks on this wheel. There's a little bit more. And so I think, Patrick, do you think it's fair that if we land on a quarterback who is not a quarterback who's starting, we respin.
I think that's a fair rule.
Okay,
I still
well,
we play.
respinning for you or from me?
Josh, I think you go first here.
Okay. It's a lot of pressure. Is Teddy Bridgewater playing?
No, we're definitely gonna have to respin.
Ah! Okay, here we go. This is the one. This is the one.
I was really hoping you were gonna land on Flacco.
Okay, we're gonna have to respin. We're gonna have to respin. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're in a good spot. I'm not nervous. Okay, this is we're good. We're good. This next one's the one. This next one's the one. Man, okay, this next one. This is the next one. We're good. We're good.
You landed on what is that? 5 backup quarterbacks.
We're good. We're good. Lamar. Is he? Zach Wilson.
He doesn't dress anymore.
Oh man. We're good. We're good. Lamar Jackson's right there. There might be more quarterbacks who are not playing on this wheel than I anticipated. Lamar Jackson. Tom Brady. Tom Brady. I can live with... Oh, wait. Is it about... No, I can live with that. Tom Brady's my guy.
That's on the 7th spin, Josh.
Okay, Patrick. You ready for this? This is you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's spin it.
Here we go. Here we go.
Spinning, baby. Come on. Give me a good quarterback here.
Mitch, I don't think he's playing.
Nope, doesn't play. Okay, keep spinning.
Here we go, Patrick. Here we go.
This is... Come on.
I mean, that could have been worse for you. I think Daniel Jones, he puts up good weeks. He puts up good weeks.
Yeah, great guy. Big Daniel Jones guy. Let's go.
He has numbers. He has numbers. Hey, so if you're on Team Patrick and Team Daniel Jones, support. Hey, but if you like GOATs, if you like the greatest of all time, if you like winning quarterbacks, hey, Team Josh right now. And I just want to let you know, the last time we did a quarterback wheel spin, I got Tom Brady.
Okay, well, it took you 7 tries, okay?
7 tries, I mean, that doesn't matter. The first 6, they were teeing me up for Tom Brady, and that's what you want. Patrick, I would be upset too. Because sometimes you just don't have that magic touch. That magic get it done when you need to get it done.
Josh, you're also the one that spins the wheel.
I want everyone to know that there's a button that I press, and it says spin. And I spin it. And when I tell my finger that this is on behalf of whoever I'm spinning it for, the universe respects that. And it's basically the same as if you were spinning it yourself. That same mojo that you would have brought into it, for all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, Patrick, it goes essence of Patra. What?
I have to root against the Heineke this weekend.
Oh, man, yeah. Yep. And should be an easy thing, because let's be real, nobody likes the Washington Commanders.
Left hand up. Who are we?
Not those haters can't stand us. That's me, and I can't stand them.
They're going to do a live show, Josh.
They're doing what live show?
Left hand up. Who are we? Those guys.
They're doing that?
Yes.
No, you're kidding me right now.
2 shows, 2 games.
They're doing it this week?
Great. That's a great question.
We'll get our Patrick. Right, you said it was this. If it's not this week, then that's not even a conversation right now. Patrick, I'm so disappointed because I was expecting that there was going to be a live show this week, and you led me to believe that there was going to be a live show. And now it seems like you don't know anything.
Giants and Browns. Boom.
Browns aren't playing the Giants this week.
What? No. Never mind. If they're doing it the Giants in the Browns game. It's in New
It's not
York.
Giants first. That would make sense.
It's in New York this week. So in a couple weeks. So yeah.
Patrick, that's disappointing. This is like when I teed you up for the Netherlands, and I was expecting you had plenty of time while the show was just completely failing to work to get me some juice on the Netherlands. I wanted some dirt, Patrick. I wanted some.
Literally
Hey,
brought the Holland never heard of her joke. That's how I started.
I don't know
Thought it
what
was
that
okay.
means.
Holland's what they call the Netherlands.
Oh, like where the Pilgrims left?
I don't know. I don't know the history of the
Pilgrims
Netherlands.
did leave it because you know how I know this because in last Thursday's Picks and Pancakes we did the underdog special for where I had to research how we got to Plymouth Rock, and
Right, because it's
initially I
Thanksgiving.
thought it was from England, and I did record the show, and I said the brave Pilgrims against all odds left England, headed across the ocean, and landed and befriended the Commanders. That was the line, and then I found out pretty soon in recording. I double checked it. It was not, in fact, at all England that we left, and so I re-recorded it real quick as just the microphone. I said like Holland, replaced the graphic. And then when I was sitting at my Thanksgiving table talking about it, it did come up. And people were impressed that I knew my history like that. And
Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google.
I felt really good. And they said, "Hey, so did you actually remember that?" Because a lot of people misconception think it's England because it was the England king that we were leaving. And I was like, yeah, I just know history like that. And they'll never know until this right now that I just actually did not know at all. Now, granted, last week, I will say, Picks and Pancakes got some mixed reviews. There was this one dude, Patrick, I tell you what. I mean, I don't want to bring up his name too much because then he's going to be like, oh, you dude, I'm living in your head rent-free. But he looks like he talks a little bit higher. Like, living in your head rent-free. Like, that's kind of how I imagined him speaking. He was not pleased with the way I conducted Picks and Pancakes at all. He thought it was, in his words, cringe. And listen, if you're on Twitter when I post Picks and Pancakes, guess what? It's going to be hard for you not to see the Picks and Pancakes.
Yes.
And if you follow me and follow any of the people that I follow, I sincerely apologize because Picks and Pancakes is really, I mean, I put it everywhere. And it's what you got to do. I'm doing my due diligence, and there are a group of people that respect me for it, and they'll hit me the follow. And I just want to say thank you guys for riding with me.
Yeah, we're all about reach here at Josh and Pat.
There was this one dude though, who, when he was not a fan at all, and he made sure I knew. And the thing is, I did add him a couple more times to say, asking him, and maybe I instigated a little bit, but he did not get it at all. And it got like, there was legitimate like back and forth for a second there. I screenshotted his betting account, and which had like the only follower was himself, and it was just him tweeting pics. Which he responded, he said, "Congratulations, stalker! You found my my communications like final account or whatever for my communications 201 project or something." And then he proceeded to type 2 tweets, max limit of the one.
Did he thread it?
I think I don't know if he did or not. I think he did. One say he was like, he explained, he's like, he went in talking to Stalk My Page. Then the next one he goes and he says talks about how I'm living in his head rent free and all, and like I'm talking about that's a summary. Two separate tweets, and then
I think you explained that really well, Josh.
Then you know what he does? Then, like 2 hours later, he likes my tweet that I posted, like showing that it's all a joke. When I said rest in peace, my hopes and dreams, he liked that. He doesn't follow me, so he went to my account and clicked like because I didn't post it underneath anything. And so I'm like, dude, and I couldn't respond because I didn't want to like him to be like, oh, see, living in your head rent free. But I'm like, dude, you can't say I'm living in your head and then respond 2 paragraph tweets and then separately, like later, like one of my tweets that you wouldn't see in your timeline because you don't follow. And I hate even talking about it right now. And
Spin zone, dude, you just spent 5 minutes on this.
I know, and I did, and I didn't want to, but I just want to say, and I wasn't going to. It wasn't in the show notes. You should know. I'm just saying, it was a wild time. Picks and Pancakes not well received by that guy. And by the way, I'm gonna tag him in this week's episode to see maybe it's just something you gotta warm up to. But also, there are some people who don't like pancakes.
I also love your Adam Schefter look right now. You're speaking with your phone in the hand like you're about to break news.
By the way, would love to get to a point where there's breaking news on this phone. I text Mike Jones, maybe see. We will have Mike Jones on this show. I want everybody to know. Mike Jones, NFL
friend of the program.
Friend of the program. I do not think that. It could be an early morning for him. I don't know what time. Recently started working at the Athletic, but yeah, Mike Jones will be on the show. But I think that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Here's how the show is going to work. I like the fact that we could talk about whatever at the end of the show. A little bit more tight with the segments at the beginning show. A little bit loose, kind of like a mullet, you know. We're the mullet of shows. So if you like the front half, maybe you like the back half. Get a little loose, get it a little less tight. We're going to figure out. This is the long-term play. Like Picks and Pancakes, obviously, and the short form content we're making, that's what's going to be, which drives this account for a little bit. And then you know what? One day, and 2 years, this show's going to keep continue. We're going to keep building, and then the next thing you know, we're going to be Spotify partners or something. Which, by the way, Patrick, Spotify Wrapped, sick of it. I just want everybody to know, Spotify Wrapped is the worst thing to happen in the whole year. Nobody cares what your music taste is. Nobody cares. I don't care that your top 5 artists was Drake, Lil Wayne, Yeezy. By the way, if Kanye's in your top 5, you're going to get some looks this year. Unless you really listen to it, a lot of it in the front half of the year. But I just want to say to all those people who are posting that you're a old soul listener or whatever, dude. Shut up. I don't care. And people are going to say I'm salty because I'm an Apple Music user and I get replay and not Spotify like recap or whatever.
Like guys.
But it's not. I don't care. You know, it's like the equivalent of me if I started my own sports show. You guys don't care.
We got to end it there.
Anyway, you guys have a nice day. Take it easy. Bye.